Go. Everybody, this is Angelo Quinones, and welcome to a video that has to do with the microphone that AAAS BAOFANG BF AAA S, like in Sam, can use. Okay, so that's just a deal. Now, before I get to the actual video, let me just show you some slide pictures of the unit itself. And I'm gonna get to talking about how small it is. It's very small. Now you can see it has the LED indicator there, indicating when you talk and when you receive calls. Um, Let me give it a rating, okay? And I'm gonna take out 2 points for each thing that this thing doesn't have, okay? Before I get, it's gonna be a video, so just stay tuned for that. Please subscribe to my channel. Please give me a thumbs up and please leave your comment on the screen. And thank you for your views, or it has to do when it has to do with the Baofeng AAAS. Um, First of all, I have to take away some points. Okay, this is it's a nice unit. It's sturdy, but the belt clip, number one, the belt clip is much smaller than the belt clip for the AAAS. Okay, that's that can be a problem because you can't put it next to the unit. You have to put it on the belt holder loop or whatever you want to call it because it's really small. It's a really small belt clip, so it's not the same size. It's not gonna fit on a 1.5 inch belt. Okay, meaning the width of the belt. So that's a point off. Number two, it doesn't come with any channel selections, so you're gonna have to depend on the unit itself, on the 888 unit itself, to change the channels. Okay, now when you change the channels on this unit, okay, you do hear, okay, the channel selections from the unit itself, meaning from the microphone. So that's a good thing. Also, I'm going to get into the thing that you have to really connect it well because then it's not going to work. So it's really going to have to click in, just like the battery has to click in. These things have to really click to work. You know, but right there, there's you got 3 points already off the bat, and you have a 10-point system, ultimate system, if you will, right? The coup de grace, the key, and it's already losing 3 points. Okay, now another drawback in buying this is that when you use it, okay, the incoming call, um, you get the volume going down. It's diminished. It is diminished though, because I was talking to my wife and her voice was much lower than if you're not using this microphone. So if you don't mind that, then you can buy it. But if you do mind that, then that could be a drawback. Okay, so that's a point. I don't want to take too many points away. I already took away 3, so that's just a point right there. Okay, that's a point right there. So I guess that's 4 points. I was gonna give it a what do you call it, a 6, but then if I took away 2 points from the belt clip is smaller, a point there. I wasn't anticipating taking a point away from the belt clip, but that did. I have to be honest with you guys, and in 2 points, there's no channel selection. And oh well, a lot of mics don't have channel selection yet, but I'm judging this by also not the ones that you have nowadays, microphones, but that you use on walkie-talkies or radios or whatever you want to call them, hand radios, whatever. But I'm judging these by the mics that I used to use in the old days, in the 1980s and 90s. Okay, those Radio Shack walkie-talkies were amazing. Maybe it couldn't take a fall like these walkie-talkies nowadays, but the microphones that you attach to those things were very, very sturdy and strong. They were not cheap. You know, this feels like it's for I don't know, for somebody in grammar school. It feels very small in your hand. You might have a problem with that. Um, and it's very light. I don't mind it being light, but it's just really too small. You don't have nothing to grab. hold like a substantial weight or anything in your hand. It's just small, it's tiny, you know and so that might be a drawback. But let me take out the points. Let me see. So 1 point for the belt clip out. Okay. Well, let's stay with the 1 point system to be fair. Okay, instead of 2 points off or whatever. It's just every time there's a sort of downgrade or like disappointment, that could just be a point off instead of it being two. Because then there's only a 10 point must system to reach at the top. So I mean, Okay, so 1 point off for the belt clip because it's much more smaller than the Baofang unit at AAA. Okay, fine. 1 point off. Okay, for there's no channel selection on the mic itself. So when you're grabbing the mic, you're leaving your radio on your waist because you don't want to use it. That's why you bought this thing for. You don't want to use it. At the time that you want to use it, you probably don't want to use it if you have the mic in, right? So I have to take a point off. Now, I originally took 2 points off because there's no channel selection. So you're still going to have to use the unit anyway. Okay? Now, the good thing about this unit is that, I mean, you can hear as well as you can speak into this thing. And from this thing and into this thing. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. Because if you can't hear from it, what we're having a mic for? I mean, that's just it. The mics in the old days, though, I don't remember it receiving calls. So I remember just giving calls. So that's a plus nowadays. I had a couple of mics, but they were amplified mics also. Okay, at least one of them was. Okay, and for my walkie-T, the Radio Shack walkie-T that cost me $150 in those days. It was a very big thing, especially the antenna was huge. 40 channels, okay, fine, but it was really the belt on it wasn't really great because it was clumsy. It was a great unit, but it was clumsy. Okay, these units are much more user friendly. Okay, so let's get to the points though. So 1 point off for the belt clip because it's smaller than the unit's belt clip. It doesn't match. You're gonna have to use it on the material, your pants, that loop, that holder that holds the belt. Okay, fine. Or you could use it on your I didn't try it yet, but you can use it on your wristband thingy. You could use it there. You can connect it there. So you could connect it to the wristband belt, okay, or your pants, the actual pants, the material of the pants, the holder. Because it's smaller, you can't put it on the belt unless you have a very tiny belt, So because that's a tiny belt clip, so 1 point off for there. Another point off, no channel selection. Okay, fine. Another point, and it should be 3 points. I'm being nice. Another point off is that you get a reduction in volume, meaning your voice is weaker going out, and the incoming voice is weaker. Okay, when you're listening to it, it's obvious. It's not the same. Now I don't know how much. By how much could it be 20%? I would say 20% lower, at least 20% lower. I could even go as high as 30% lower, something like that. But at least to stay on the safe side, maybe 15 to 20% lower. That's huge because, when you get up there in range, okay, this unit can only go, if you're not spicing it up, like about a mile, okay, which is 5,280 feet. And I tested it, and you can, the range is about maybe tops 5,600 feet with a normal SMA antenna. Normal, no nothing special, just the one that came in the box. Okay, now if you get another antenna, a better antenna, right? Then it'll do better. And I'm going to do that ultimate test part 2 to see if it could even go up to 8,000 feet, which is about a mile and a half. Okay. So a point off the belt clip, a point off of the, no channel selection, and a point off of the volume reduction. That's huge. Absolutely huge. Now, if there's going to be a point off for that, well, I have to give it a point Now, one of my mics had a volume control. This doesn't, so I have to take a point off. I have to take a point. That's 4 points right there. That's 4 points right there. Okay. So I don't really care about it not having a flashlight. I don't care about that. The flashlight stinks anyway, and the unit itself anyway. It's just like a 1 out of 10. I gave the flashlight in one of my reviews of the unit. Okay, so I don't care about that. I don't care about the squelch control not being there. So I'm not gonna take any points about from the mic because you know you don't want all the controls on the unit anyway. You just want your channel selection there, and because it's just you still have to use your walkie-talkie on that's on your waist. So belt clip, a point off. Okay, lack of size, a lack of having channel selection, that's 2 points off. Voice reduction, that's another point, or 1 point off. Voice reduction, that's another point off, that's three. What did I take off? I was taking off so much stuff. It's just ridiculous. I can't even keep count. Um, what was it? No volume control. Okay, no volume control. So that's 4 points off. So that's all that I took off. Okay, I didn't write them down. So no volume control, no channel control, bell clip, and reduction of voice. Okay, and I think that was it. I think it went down to six, right? 6 points. Um, I think not having an amplified mic. It's just when you have a mic, you want to improve the unit. You just want to improve the unit. You know, so it not amplifying. I'm not gonna take a point off because I think that's too much. But if you're trying to get something that's gonna amplify your voices, is not the deal. It's gonna decrease, and I already took a point off. Now what are the pros? Those are the cons. What are the pros? Well, I mean, it's light. It's light, so that's number one. Number two, um, it does have a belt clip. I mean, I took a point off from, but it's light and it does have a belt clip. Okay, fine. You could just figure out, where, and I gave you a couple of ideas. Put it on your belt, not your belt, but put it on your pants, holder there for the belt. Yeah, it's small enough for that. It's big enough for that, I should say. So that's okay, fine. And then it's light. It's babyish lightish. It's really, really, really quite crazy how the material is. Um, and so you got two things going for it, and then you do have I think a earphone jack underneath it, but don't quote me on that. I think that's an earphone jack. I don't think I don't think this came with a manual, so I think that's an earphone jack underneath it. What would it be? You don't need to charge it. Um, you don't need to charge it. So I mean, and then you don't need to program it because the programming, if you need to program it, it has to do with the unit itself. So what could it be? It has to be some sort of earphone jack or something like that, or whatever the case may be. Could be something like that, but I'm not sure, 100% sure. So that's a plus. Whatever it is, extra in it, that's a plus. It does have a LED indicator, just like the AAA as has, like when you're giving signals, when you're speaking, it does turn green. Okay, incoming signals is the same thing as the unit; it turns red. So that's okay. Okay, that's fine. That's like three or four things. That's fine. The push to talk button seems to be okay. I don't think there's any problems with it. I don't think you're gonna have any problems with it. So that's good. You don't want something so outrageously, sticky that it's not gonna press well. So that's good. Um, and that's basically it. I mean, it's like I said, it doesn't amplify anything. It reduces. So when you get up there, like, in the mile range, you don't want a reduction, man. You want to something to amplify your voice. So if you get up there in the mileage range, just make sure that if you're able to and legally able to, put a special antenna, on this thing, on the AAAS, then you're gonna have to do that if you're using your mic. So basically, I mean, that's about it. It's nothing to write home about. I had better mics in the old days, better mics. But the thing is that with that mic, okay, and the unit itself for Radio Shack, the belt that you used to use to attach the walkie-talkie on your actual pants belt, you had to go through a lot just to take it off. Just to put it on and take it off. You just wanted to leave it there, the walkie-talkie. It's just, you really didn't walk around with it on your belt. What I got was a carrying case, and you put it over like over your shoulder, like Mr. Spock a little bit on Star Trek, like that, because the belt was just a bad idea. There was no belt clip; it was a belt, and you had to go through a lot to take it off and put it back on. And then the mic itself, the back of it, wasn't really made for your belt. It was designed for the metal piece on a CB or something like that. So you just couldn't hang it on your belt. So it wasn't really portable like that, like for your belt. The design is just right over here. You have, two units and two belt clips. But the problem is that it's not the same size as the AAAL's belt clip. That's the only problem. They should have made it the same size, even if it's hanging a little bit, but they didn't do that. Now, I don't know about the durability of the belt clip because it's smaller. The durability of the AAAS belt clip is very, very good, but again, the belt clip of this microphone, right? It's probably not as good and it's smaller, so I don't think it's gonna last, as much as the belt clip of the AAAS is going to last. So what's my rating? Well, my rating is just, I mean, it's just a 6, and I'm being nice. Okay, it could have been a 5 also. It probably was a 5. I'll probably give it like a 5 or a 6. I can't go any lower than a 5 because it's not crummy. It could take a fall also, so that's another thing that this unit has. How about the wire, or like the old telephones used to have? Remember the old telephones and the old microphones and stuff like that they used to watch on Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and all that stuff, and SWAT, and I mention that all the time. It's not so strong like that, like the old days. It's small. I don't have it with me now. It's just in the other room. But it's not like the material. It's not like you're dealing with materials of the old age, the old days. Which is the old, which are the old ages. Okay, you understand? It's like they wanted to sacrifice weight and the power of the plastic they used to use in the old days for something lighter. But then maybe it's something lighter, maybe stronger. I don't know. Plastic was invented in the 1950s, I believe, right? So that's we have plastic for about like 70 years or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? It's about 70 years. So plastic is nothing new. It's just like it's different kinds of plastics. So something lighter may not be worse than plastic that's heavier. You understand what I mean? If that makes any sense, I don't know. All right. So that's, thank you so much for this very long review on a very tiny on a very tiny thing. Would I recommend that you get it? I wouldn't. I would see what other. I mean, I would see what other microphones are out there that you can attach to your AAA-S. That's the last slide, by the way. That's the last one. I would see what's better out there. If you want a volume control or some channel selections on it and stuff like that, then just type in microphones for BAOFANG BF AAAS and see what comes out. Either in Shopee if you're here if you're here in the Philippines. I got the unit for maybe, I don't know how much it was, like 300 pesos, which is like just a ridiculous $6. Something like that. I'm just guessing. I forgot. I don't have the price in front of me. But I just ordered this and it came in actually yesterday. Would I buy another one? Well, my wife wouldn't probably want to use that. I think it's just too much for her to carry around and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I just have it for me, and I might get a microphone that amplifies and that has all the things that I said that this should have, and that's why I took away the points. Okay, you understand? So I wouldn't. I just would do some research if I was you, even if it's just so cheap anyway. Is if you need to have one now because you're working and you really need to have one, then you can buy it. But if you really don't need to rush or anything like that, just get another one that has more controls and maybe can amplify your voice. And you know, just be ready for one that amplifies your voice to need some sort of battery, to amplify your voice. That's what mine needed to do in the old days in the 1980s. Let me just take that out of the way. I had an amplified mic, but you needed two AAA batteries to do the job. You know, so the power didn't come from the power of the walkie-talkie of the T120 or whatever it was in those days. But it depended on you having batteries in the mic, like that. So I mean, just do some research and see what it comes up with, and maybe you can get a rechargeable battery for that. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna see that this is not gonna be the end all be all. I think I still want a mic, but something heavier, something bulkier, something that will fit in my hand more than just feeling like it's a toy or something like that. You know what I mean? It's too light. It's too little. It's too late to give it a 10. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And that's being generous. I could have gave it a 5, you know. So that's just the deal. This is Angelo Quinones, always giving glory to God. Again, please subscribe to my channel. Please give me a thumbs up. And please leave your comment on the screen. Very, very hard unit to judge because it is nice. It looks like the unit itself, so it matches like that, and it's but those are drawbacks that I have to be honest with you about. And if you want something better, um, that has all the blows and the whistles of a microphone, well, this is not the thing for you. If you don't care about the voice reduction and about it lacking the things that I said that it lacks, well, then I would get it because it's cheap. I would get it. Something like that. It's not like a must know. It's not that. It's not gonna it's not gonna hurt your unit or anything like that. It's just that it's not gonna improve it. It's not gonna improve it. So if you don't want to get something that doesn't improve, the only thing that improves is that you don't have to have the walkie-talkie in your hand while you're doing something. And it does have a belt clip, so you could use it on not your belt but your pants holder, or your wrist strap. Uh, you know, put it on the strap there. Maybe it'll stay there. So anyway, it is very tough. This is the toughest tutorial that I did on a unit in my life. And this is because you don't want to downgrade it to such a degree that you're not going to have anything left. But you're taking out the flowers and you're not going to have anything left. But I just have to be honest that if you want to improve your walkie-talkie, well, this is not for you. If you want to be a little bit more flexible with your walkie-talkie, leaving it on your waist and using something else, then this is probably for you. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.